small for the two of us. So you are listening to the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. Sam Lovin and Joe Shasky. We're coming at you every week with all your best Giants content. Make sure you've liked this podcast, subscribe to it, make sure you're reviewing it, and most importantly, share it. Tell everybody you have ever met that they need to listen to the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. Before we get out of here, Shasky, I want to bring back a segment that we really enjoyed last year. That's a little bit of 3 up, 3 down here for the month of April. Got the first month in the books here. So,
are you doing all of them, or am I doing any of them? I want you to do them all.
Let's go back.
No, you do them all.
You go back. All right, there you go. So I got my 3. Let's start with my 3 ups then. The first up I want to give it to is Anthony DeSclafani. Welcome back, dude. It's great to have 2011 Anthony DeSclafani, or sorry, 2021 Anthony DeSclafani out there dealing. He has looked so much better. The ankle clearly is not bothering him anymore. Maybe that was the reason he struggled last year. Glad to have him back on board.
I am too. It's good to see him. And for a guy that they invested so heavily into, multi-year deal, obviously was supposed to be one of the linchpins of the rotation. It's great to have him back right now. And I agree. He looks fantastic.
Yeah, you're really seeing, I think he's really got that feel of the slider again this year. He's getting guys out with it in the same rate he was 2 years ago. I would like to see a little bit more from the sinker though, but overall, I mean, again, he's got the walk rate down. He's getting a lot more ground balls. Hopefully that can continue. Yeah, what do you got?
I have someone at my door. Can we pause it for a second? Is that
pause it?
All right, give me 1 second. All right, continue.
All right. Anyway, yeah, so I'm really liking what I'm seeing with DeSclafani with the slider. He's really got that going again. He's getting guys out with it in the same rate that he was getting back in 21. I would like to see a little bit more from the sinker though, but there's still a lot of time early. He's probably getting a little bit more contact there than would probably be, that you would really want. But a couple things I really like what you're seeing from DeSclafani is the walk rate is down this year. He's getting more ground balls. Hopefully he can really continue that because again, if he can kind of be a linchpin atop the rotation with Alex Cobb and Logan Webb, that's a good 1-2-3 punch the Giants can get there. And seeing DeSclafani back has been one of the early joys of this season. Next up, I want to move on to LaMonte Wade Jr., who is really getting off to really finishing this month on a hot streak here, hitting 364 here in the last week of April, 4 home runs during that span. The speed isn't there, but he's playing respectable defense. He's getting on base. We're really seeing, I want to say he's back to late night LaMonte, but he's heading in that direction right now.
Well, and he's playing better defense first base wise than I thought he would. I mean, surprisingly, he looks totally rejuvenated. I mean, really only saw him for like 3/4 of the season in 2021, but he does look a lot better. I would like to see him put the ball in play more often, to be quite honest with you. That's my one criticism, but you've got to love what you've seen thus far.
Yeah, I mean, he's setting himself up. He's putting himself in positions to where he's got a great command of the strike zone. I do think you'll start seeing the contact come a little bit more. Again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier on this pod, like he's not too far off from the production that we saw in 2021, but improved a little bit. Like I said, he's got more of a feel for the strike zone. He's only swinging at the pitches he knows he can hit. He's lowering the strikeout rate, and he's focusing on those in-zone pitches. When you start doing that, you're setting yourself up to be in a situation where eventually more hits will start coming. Last up, JD Davis. He can play defense too. They call him just dingers, just doubles. How about just defense? There's so many great things. You can't say enough about JD Davis, who right now I believe he's leading the Giants in home runs right now with 6 or 7.
Is he the most surprising Giant thus far?
He might be. I did not have a whole lot of expectations for JD Davis coming into the season. When I look at that Darren Ruff trade, I'm thinking, cool. Thomas Szapucki. I think he could be a good part of this bullpen down the road. No, JD Davis has been the centerpiece of that trade. And yeah, he looked like a guy who, okay, maybe he's like a good bench guy last year. He looks like a lineup linchpin right now.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously the power in the bat, but to me, just the way he approaches these at-bats, he puts together good at-bats. Like, that's the thing I love about him. And on a team with a lot of guys that refuse to swing at times, he likes to swing. And I love that about him. Defensively, he's way better than I thought, though.
Oh, yeah. Defensively, I mean, the eye test tells it. The metrics tell us, too. He's their best defender right now, by far. And just that.
I didn't have that heading into this year. I thought he was more Darren Ruff.
Not. He's the 4. He's probably their best option at the 4 spot right now. He can handle both corners of the infield, third base and first base, well defensively. Again, he's another guy, a lot like LaMonte Wade Jr. The strikeout rate's down so far this year. A lot of guys on this team you see these guys, they're striking out a lot, but the K rate overall is kind of dropping for a lot of their key hitters here. The one kind of concern I do have right now is that 40% of his fly balls have been home runs so far this year. He's got a career rate of about 20%, so that will probably drop a little bit more. He's also not putting the ball in the air as much, just a little bit, putting the ball in the air a little bit less this year than he was last year. But other than that, though, I mean, if it's a guy who you can get a little bit more line drive power in there here, hit more parts of the field. He's more of a pull and set and straightaway kind of hitter. And I hear the dog in the background. He seems to really be vibing on JD Davis too right now.
My dog is driving me nuts. Give me the 3 down so we can get on out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Dog.
So our 3 downs really quick. Sounds like someone needs a walk. Logan Webb, simply put, this was not a good month for him. 1-5, a 4.10 ERA. I believe he gave up 11 home runs last year, 7 already this year. He's hitting the strike zone a lot more, which is good. Maybe he's hitting the strike zone a little too much there. Where's a panic concern level? On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about Logan Webb right now?
I'm at like a 3 or 4, or at least for this year. This year, it feels like he's just going to have to rebound and do the. Oh my God, this dog. Driving me nuts. My dog is having a Logan Webb start to the season right now in the room. No snap on the break, driving me nuts, nibbling the corners, and when he does throw one over the middle, it's getting hit, and it's getting hit hard.
Oh, all right. Well, let's rat-tat these last 2 downs here. We'll do a David Villar. He's not hitting well right now. You see the flashes. I talked to him the other week. He's in a good place right now. The Giants really trying to work on him mechanically, but I feel like if it weren't for the amount of injuries the Giants have right now, I don't think David Villar would be on the big league roster right now.
Yeah, but I like that they're giving them opportunities to try to play through it. I think last year he would have been up and down and up and down and up and down. I at least like that we getting a chance to see him. And if it comes to fruition that he's not good, then so be it. Like, let's see it. We've been clamoring to see young people. I want to see the young guys at the big league level. I don't want to see Casey Schmidt at AAA. I want to see him up. I want to see VR. I'd rather see him struggle than see, player X who's 32 years old, who's got no more options in the minors, but you acquired him for no reason other than to, get a marginal upgrade over a guy like David Villar, who's 25 from your own system, and you want to reward because he was awesome in the minor leagues.
Yeah, I think there's somebody who said there. I feel like, again, the Giants are probably in this battle of, are we a good team that can contend, or are we a team that's going to let guys kind of work through their struggles right now? Whether or not they're choosing to let David Villar work through his struggles right now, or whether or not they're being forced to, he's being forced to work through it. And that, you could take that as a positive. All it takes is a couple of good at-bats to really get him back into form there, really get the mechanics in form. One thing I do like about David Villar, though, is that the defense is there. He's been really good on defense. He's not JD Davis good, but no one's JD Davis good on defense right now. But he's really looked good, especially at second base.
Yes.
Watching the game last night in the 5th inning, there was runners on second and third, 2 outs. Bregman hits a ball to the left side of second base. Villar comes across the bag. He's running to his right towards the left field line, fields the ball, turns around, makes a fantastic play to get Bregman, beats him by half a step. Faster runner probably is safe, but it was one of those plays where it's like, that's a difficult play to make. And the offense is struggling. It's so easy for a guy who's struggling offensively to just let it go on the field as well. He's not doing that. He's looking better and better every week in the field. And so he's able to kind of separate the struggles. And that's something you need to do as a big leaguer. Lastly, our last down, I got to do it. This group. It's a group pick. I'm going to go with the whole bullpen right now. It is not pretty right now. They have a 6.40 ERA, which is only behind the A's and White Sox in Major League Baseball right now. That is not the cool kids table. That is not the group you want to be in right now. They're giving up about 1.6 home runs per 9 innings, also behind the White Sox. Here's an interesting stat that I saw. They're only stranding 60% of their runners. That is the worst in baseball.
Ouch.
I don't know. Like, part of it,
good? Who's good right now coming out of that bullpen? Forget what the struggles are. Who's good? David Alexander, maybe.
Yeah, Scott Alexander's had
Scott Alexander.
Yeah, but then he's got an unsightly ERA that might be Mexico City enhanced. Camille Doval is kind of up and down right now. Tyler Rogers got victimized by Mexico City a little bit. I mean, that's the thing. These numbers are fresh off of the Mexico City appearance, which that's gonna inflate things a little bit. But you got 2 guys in Ross Stripling and Sean Jelly, who whenever they've come out of the bullpen, they kind of came out in kind of mop up roles.
Yeah.
Taylor Rogers took a while to really get into form. He's looking a little bit better now, but the bullpen's a serious concern right now when this was supposed to be an upgraded unit this year.
I didn't subscribe to that, but yeah, it looks really bad right now. I mean, the Rogers brothers haven't been good enough. Duvall's been erratic at best. And then also the victim of poor defense, like the Yastrzemski blooper the other night. Yastrzemski comes up and pops his hamstring. If he makes that play, they get out of that inning.
Yeah. So it's just, maybe it's a little bit of some bad luck. Some of it though is there are situations they're putting themselves into.
Yeah. It's called meatballs. And then walking guys.
Last year, this bullpen was very good at limiting hard contact. Yeah. This year, they're one of the worst in giving up hard contact. And I just don't know what the fix is right now.
Yeah, I don't
you can hope that Taylor Rogers and Sean Alexander pitch better, or maybe you go to the minor leagues. Maybe it's a Cole Waits. Maybe it's an RJ Davovich. Maybe it's a Melvin Adon. But right now, the bullpen really, it's just not working right now. And that is very concerning for a team that I think invested a lot of time and resources into making the bullpen not be the issue this year.
Yeah, and I was hoping that Duvall could take a step forward. And it just feels like he's kind of stuck where he's at right now, which is erratic performances. But the one good thing is it does kind of feel like he's trusting the fastball slightly more. I mean, that's the most positive thing I can come up with.
And you know what? Hey, positive steps are a good thing. It doesn't matter how small they are. Let's just move forward. Thank you very much for joining us this week. It's a bit of a longer episode this week, but we had so much Giant stuff we really had to get off our chest here. So for Sam Loveman and Joe Shasky, this is the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. We will be back at some point next week, probably, to talk about more Giants baseball. They got the Brewers in town this weekend, and I don't see a turnaround team coming anytime soon. So the Giants are going to have to make their own turnaround. So until then, we will catch you on the next one.